Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to add more game systems to your NES or SNES Classic. Now, first of all, I'm going to assume that you have already installed Hackchi. I made a video on how to do that, so if you don't already have it installed, go ahead and watch that video first. Next, we're going to have to make sure that we hook up our NES Classic, and then after we do that, then we can go into the modules section to install the cores. And then we're going to go down to KMFD's Mod Hub, and then we're going to go to KMFD Cores. Now there's a lot of different game systems that you can add to it. You can do MAME, or you can do Atari, or you can do, let's see, Commodore Amiga, Commodore 64, Game & Watch. You can do Vectrex, Odyssey 2. I mean, who doesn't want Odyssey 2 on their NES Classic? You can also do TurboGrafx-16, SuperGrafx, Game Boy, Gameboy Advance, Nintendo 64, which I'm dubious as to whether N64 is going to work very well, but we'll give it a try. Nintendo DS, of course we already have NES on there, Super NES, and oh, you can do Sega Dreamcast. Oof, I'd be really surprised if it could do Dreamcast. Game Gear, Sega Mega Drive, and Genesis. So let's just pick some of the basics here. We'll go ahead and go with the Nintendo console since this is an NES Classic. Again, you can do this on a SNES Classic as well. So let's pick, actually I'm going to do TurboGrafx. We'll do that. We're going to do Game Boy Advance. And I really don't know which is the best core to use for these. I just, randomly pick one, and if it doesn't happen to work, then I'll choose a different one. We'll just do the first one in the list. We'll do Gambate, okay. We'll do Game Boy Advance, GBSP, and I don't know, that Gloop N64 Extreme sounds like a weird one. I'm gonna do Moop N64 Extreme as well. That's more of a familiar one for me. I was gonna skip Nintendo NDS, but I'm kind of curious to see how that would look on a screen. Of course, we don't need NES since this is an NES Classic, but if you had an SNES Classic, you would want to choose one of these. And let's do the Super Nintendo. And let's scroll down here, and we're going to do Sega Mega Drive Genesis. All right, now that we've gone ahead and selected those, I'm going to choose Download Modules here. In the past, I've been bitten by not installing RetroArch, so I'm going to go ahead and select the RetroArch section over here. And we'll just do the 1.9.10 Ozone. And we'll say download module. And then we can close this. And then I'm going to go over here to install extra modules. And you can see all of the cores that I selected earlier. We actually have to synchronize them with the NES Classic now. And we'll also choose this RetroArch one here. And once we've done that, we'll go ahead and click OK. Alright, now it's just going to go ahead and install the cores onto the NES Classic, or SNES Classic if you have that one. Alright, all done. Next, we have to add some more games, so we're going to click this little button down here that says Add More Games. And we can start with Game Boy Advance. We'll go ahead and pick Advance Wars 2, Duke Nukem Advance, and let's do one called Smashing Drive. Alright, now we're going to have to go ahead and select the 3 games that we just added and right-click on them and say Select Emulation Core. We select all the games again. It automatically assigned them to Game Boy Advance console, and since we haven't selected a core, it just goes to Unassigned. And I think it would default to this GBSP since that's the only other one there, but I'm just going to go ahead and select it anyways. So click that, and we click Apply, click Close, and let's add a few more games from a different system now. Alright, let's do Nintendo DS this time. How about Aliens Infestation, Geometry Wars Galaxies, Scribblenauts ought to be a good one since you kind of need the stylus for that. I'd be curious to see how that works. And let's do Tron Evolution. Why not? Alright, now let's do Super Nintendo. Let's do Aliens vs. Predator, Batman Returns. I don't know, I just like beat 'em up games. We'll do Contra 3, The Alien Wars. And you might get this message about how the emulator doesn't support what's showing here. That's just telling you that the base emulator inside the NES Classic can't do Super Nintendo games. So we're just going to say yes to all here. Well, that's interesting. It kind of mixed all the games together so far. I was trying to keep them separate, but it still has the Super Nintendo ones selected. So I'm going to right click on there and do Select Emulation Core. It already has Super Nintendo. And this time I think we'll go with the bottom one, Super NES 9X Extreme. So down at the bottom it has separated them all up, so that's good. Alright, now let's do a couple of TurboGrafx-16 games. How about Bloody Wolf? Bonk's Revenge? And how about Galaga 90? Okay, right click on them, say Select Emulation Core, select all the games, and we'll just go with Beetle PCE Fast. Alright, let's add some basic Game Boy games. Let's do Burger Time Deluxe. We'll do Donkey Kong, which has the arcade outline around it. It's kind of neat. We'll see how that looks. And we'll do Operation C. All right, right click on them, select emulation core, check them all out, make sure they're good. And it says unassigned, but I'm gonna go with Gambit. Again, it probably would default to that anyways, but I'm just gonna specifically say Gambit. Why not? And then last but not least, let's do some Sega Genesis games. Let's do Streets of Rage 2, we'll do Road Rash 2, and Sonic 2, which that'll be fun seeing Sonic on a Nintendo system. All right, right click on there, select emulation core, select all the games. It's already set to Sega Mega Drive. It's set to M2 Engage. Now you want to make sure that it's not on M2 Engage because that's the default emulator for the Sega Genesis Mini, which is not going to be on the Nintendo Minis, of course, or Classics. So you're going to want to go with something else. I don't know, let's do Genesis Extreme GX. Hit apply, hit close. All right, now let's make sure that we got the artwork for all these games. We'll start with the TurboGrafx-16. As you can see, there's no artwork for Bloody Wolf, so we're going to select the game. We'll click Google, and then the artwork will pop up. A lot of these already have the artwork. Advance Wars 2 does not, so we'll do Google. About Duke Nukem, yep. Smashing Drive, yep. Here's another game that has issues because it can't find the DS version, so here's a little trick. Oh, there it is, I actually found it. But I will show you a trick on how you can find the artwork when a game doesn't pop up. If you go in here to, say, the name of the game, like Tron Evolution, and you just type Nintendo DS, and then do Google, it will find that version of the game that you're looking for. And then once you've selected it, you can take off the Nintendo DS. This is basically the Google search that it does to try to find the game. All right, Alien vs. Predator, it's got the art for that, Batman, Contra, Road Rash, Sonic 2, and Streets of Rage 2. All right, now that we've got all the games that we want, we could export them directly to the Mini itself by clicking this button right here, but the NES Classic and Super NES Classic doesn't have a lot of memory, so you might want to get yourself a USB flash drive, but with the Nintendo Classics, you're going to want to get a little device like this so that you can hook it up. This is basically a USB pass-through so that you can connect a USB thumb drive. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this little gadget here. I kind of like this one because it's small. There are ones that have like pigtails and stuff like that, but I like this one. What I'm going to do is hook up my USB flash drive to my computer, and then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click Export to USB. Now something weird's going to happen when I click this, so watch what happens. And it might go not responding here for a little bit. Don't worry about that, just give it a moment. Eventually it'll pop up with this little message asking you where do you want to save your games to, and we're gonna say, in my case, I have the flash drive is called NES_Mini. Click OK. And now it's gonna tell you that it's moved all these new games into an unsorted folder. You basically need to create the folder structure for your games. So as you can see, all the NES games are in the Nintendo Entertainment System folder. And I have an icon for that. But we're going to want to create folders for every one of these game systems that we created. So the quickest way to break this up is to click the unsorted folder list here that we've got. And if we click split by console, it will automatically break these all up. But see how it puts them in this unsorted folder, which I really don't like. But we could drag and drop these folders into the main home folder here. Just drag and drop them up there like that. The other thing I don't really care for is the naming, so we'll go ahead and rename these. Right click on there and say rename, and I'm just going to take off all this extra stuff at the front. Alright, there we go. I renamed all these: Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Genesis, Nintendo DS, Nintendo Entertainment System, Super NES, and TurboGrafx-16. Actually, I'm going to put the little dash in there. I like the dash. So next, we're going to want to change the menu icon here. So what we'll do is we'll select on the game system, and then we'll click the icon here, and that's TurboGrafx-16. I found that I think the closest you can get to a turbo image is the PC Engine. Click that. Super NES, we'll click the folder, and we'll go down and we'll choose SNES USA, or if you want the European one and Japanese Famicom, Super Famicom, you can do that one, but I'm going to choose the USA one. I don't see a Nintendo DS one, so I guess we'll just stick it with the folder. Alright, so now that we've selected our folders, unfortunately I wasn't able to get an NDS, Nintendo DS folder, so it's just going to have to go with the folder icon until I could find one. We'll just go ahead and click OK, and now it will go ahead and upload our games and folder structure and all that good stuff to the flash drive. Alright, now that it's all done, we'll go ahead and hook it up to our TV and we'll check it out. Alright, I noticed it started me out with the Nintendo DS game, so let's go ahead and try one of those. Although strangely, what's the deal with Advance Wars not showing here? I'm going to try that first. Amiga? I must have picked the wrong core. Let's try a Duke Nukem Advance. Okay, this looks a little better. Oof, that looks jinky. I wouldn't recommend playing it like this on the NES Classic. Might have to try a different emulator core for this to work. Alright, so now we're going to hit the home button. And yes, I'm using my Wii Classic controller because it's got all the buttons you need for, pretty much everything. Alright, let's jump out of here. We're going to hit the back on the folder here. And of course it's going to drop us into all the different game systems that we added. That one is the DS because they didn't have a DS icon. And here's the Nintendo Entertainment System. This will be all the original games that we had on the system. And Super NES and TurboGrafx-16, which, again, I really wish I had a TurboGrafx-16 icon instead of the PC Engine one. And we'll start with Donkey Kong. It doesn't look like the emulator supports the wraparound. I really love how this version of Donkey Kong, kind of incorporates the original game, plus, it has a whole new spin on the type of game. Oh, how'd I do that? That was interesting. Alright, I noticed once you jump out of the game, you get the little save game floaty thing down there. So if I wanted to, I could save this game right here. Hit A. Save it right there. It's kind of neat how they incorporated all this into the NES Classics interface. Like on the Sega Genesis, if you play games that are not related to that particular system, it drops you out to a whole separate interface, which is kind of annoying to jump in and out of. I really like the way they did this. It's such a great version of Contra. I remember I was so down on the Game Boy when it first came out because it was in black and white, but it doesn't really matter. This game still plays awesome. To me, this feels more like Contra than in Contra 3, the Alien Wars. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and save that right there. And let's try Burger Time. This is a good version of Burger Time, too. Come on, hot dog. There you go. Oh, I need the chess piece. Alright, let's try Genesis. Get out of my way. Ugh. Alright, that looks like it works pretty good, even if I do get run over by a car. And I can still save it. That's so cool. Ooh, slight delay there. Ooh, it does seem a little slower than usual. I guess because the NES doesn't have blast processing. Of course, it might just mean we need to try a different core. I thought Road Rash felt a little sluggish. Music is so good in this game. A little bit of shimmering I notice, but I guess that's expected with pretty much any system where the pixels aren't exactly mimicking the original. Alright, here's the one I'm not sure if it's going to work well or not. Nintendo 64. We'll start with Hydro Thunder. Oh, did not work. Mario Kart 64? Super Mario 64? Thinking about it. Oh, we got it!
Me, Mario!
Oh my gosh, it actually works.
Hello,
Oh, I'm moving his head around with the analog controls.
Dear Mario, please come to the castle. I have baked a cake for you. Yours truly, Princess.
Why is it Princess Toadstool and then she signs it Peach? That doesn't make any sense. Alright, as you can see, it works pretty darn well with the analog controls. Of course, you would have to use a Wii Classic controller. I'm actually pretty impressed how well this works. I didn't really think the NES Classic had the horsepower to handle this game, but I guess I was wrong. And very impressive. I can actually save the game here too. Cool. I guess I'll have to get some different ROMs for the Hydro Thunder and Mario Kart 64. Alright, let's try Nintendo DS. I'm really curious to see how this is going to pan out. So the analog controls moves that little cursor down there at the bottom. That's interesting. Okay, not sure how I'm supposed to move or anything. The contortion I have to do to play this game is almost impossible. So I have to move with the D-pad, and I have to hold down the B button to shoot, and then I have to aim the shooting with the analog control. This is basically impossible to play on here. Plus it's very sluggish and annoying. Okay, let's move on. I definitely don't think this is ready for prime time, considering the sluggishness of the emulation. Please touch a Marine's portrait to continue. Okay. I'm trying. Alright, well, I don't think Nintendo DS is ready for prime time on this. I'm not even going to bother with Scribblenauts or Tron. Alright, I'm sure Super Nintendo is going to work just fine. Go ahead and do Alien vs. Predator. It's a reasonably decent beat 'em up. Batman Returns is such a great beat 'em up. Get over here, clown. Ugh. Taste Bat Fist. Come on, take that. If any game should be on the Super Nintendo Classic, it should be this one. And of course, Contra 3: The Alien Wars, which is on the SNES Classic, complete with slowdown. This is a good game, but I always felt the timing was just a little bit off compared to the NES versions. It's just, seems like it runs too fast. Of course, like any Contra game, if you don't have the spread gun, you're screwed. And last but not least, let's try TurboGrafx-16. Oh, I noticed if I hit the Y and the X buttons, it turns on or off the turbo mode for that particular button. That's cool. Oh, I'm trapped in this barbed wire. Oh, let me get on the motorcycle. Yeah, baby. How you like this? Oh, yeah. I'm getting out of here. I don't care about those hostages. I'm leaving. There's a bit of slowdown. That's probably a side effect of the TurboGrafx-16, too. Oh, gosh, I found the boss. Shotgun Man, are you making all that racket? Eagle. Yeah, what of it? Shotgun Man. Ha! You'll make a nice target for this gun. Yeah, but I got a motorcycle, dude. Oh, I did. How do I get off the motorcycle? Alright, Bonk's Revenge. Works good. Just gotta turn on that turbo so I can get up the water better. Alright, Galaga 90. Oh, this is gonna be good with the turbo buttons turned on. Yeah, be careful not to shoot all these guys, because they give me the triple ship. Oh, be careful. Got it. Triple ship coming up. Are you kidding me? Alright, well there you go. That's how you can add more systems and more games to your NES Classic by using Hackchi. The only thing I would say we had an issue with was the Nintendo 64. A couple of my games didn't work. I think Hydro Thunder and Mario Kart 64. I probably need different ROMs for those, but I was really impressed that Super Mario 64 worked. Also, Nintendo DS did not really work that great on here. I did try Scribblenauts or Tron Evolution, but how can you play these games on a console without a stylus? This might work better if it was on like the Wii U or something like that, but not on a classic console like this. Also, the Sega Mega Drive, maybe I need to change the emulator core. Might be a different core, might work a little bit better. Might try Genesis Plus GX just to see how that goes on the next run through. Alright, that's gonna do it. I appreciate you watching. Take care, and we'll see you again next time. Bye bye, everybody.